All right, welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I'm your man, Big Jack. This is where we prove we are stronger together, that if each one would reach one, we can all grow and glow. And I'm super excited. We are in the month of February. It's hard to believe we're already in February. Today I got a wonderful guest that's going to appear on the show today. Looking forward to having this conversation with this health coach, best-selling author, singer-songwriter, puppeteer, and a model. So all these things we're going to get out here. So you want to make sure you tune in today for the Iron Sharpening Iron Show with Miss Justina Black, and I'm looking forward to this. So I don't want to hold things up. I want to go ahead and kick this show off. And so right after this logo, you're going to have me and my man up on the stage. So let's kick this show off. Welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Oh, there he is, my man. Walt Talks. What's up, bro?
My man, what's happening, Big Jack?
Oh man, I'm excited. I'm excited. We're in the month of February already.
Oh man, February, yeah, already, yeah.
Yeah, and the snow hit for a lot of places on the East Coast, but it didn't hit Maryland. So I am okay.
Say that again.
Not this weekend.
Oh, you mean the second time around?
Second,
okay, I was going to say, what are you talking about, man? I mean,
no. Okay, yeah. Second time around.
Oh yeah, man. I tell you what, man. For all the people who were hoping for snow, bless your heart. I guess you got it.
Yeah, for real.
Meanwhile, at the ranch, I won't see my golf clubs for another month or so.
Oh no, what we got is going to be a minute before they thaw out.
Yeah, it'll be March, man, because I mean, we haven't even gotten above freezing.
No,
in DC, man. Yeah, so
they're not looking for it.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. So we definitely want. I know Georgia got hit, South Carolina, North Carolina, Virginia.
North Carolina got 7
We want to look out for all of our viewers is in those areas to be careful. And God bless you on catching snow on top of snow. So 2 weekends in a row. I know some people in North Carolina got over a foot. So that's a lot of snow on top of what we had already had. But I'm grateful we didn't get that second round, but that first round was still digging out. So go ahead, what you got?
I don't know these people personally or the families. I know some of the family members, but 53 years old, man, guy shoveling snow, and he went out. He had a heart attack.
Oh wow!
And his neighbor saw him go down. She thought he fell. So she went back in the house just basically expecting him to get up. And then she looked back outside. About 10, 15 minutes later, he was still lying in the snow, man. So 53 years old, man. So be careful out there shoveling snow, and this ice and stuff is heavy. If you have any, smart watches and all that kind of stuff, keep them on. Maybe they'll give you a warning if you're having problems. And the main thing is stay safe. So.
And look, and you 100% correct. I mean, I've been out there and I've been humping it and pushing it.
Me too.
And I know you have too. So, I mean, and you got to be careful and watch yourself. Moderation. It took me 3 or 4 days to actually just clear my driveway because I had to break it up in pieces. I just couldn't try to do it all at one time.
Yeah.
So, but with all that being said, I know it's the winter time and snow is expected if you're in any of those states. But look, check it out, Walt. We got a great guest coming on the show today.
All right.
I'm gonna bring her up so we can get her up on the stage. So and so we can kick this thing off. You ready?
Let's get it going. Let's make it happen.
Let's welcome our guest to the show. Here we go. All right, there she is, Miss Justina Black. How you doing?
Hi. I'm doing good. Good. My stage name is actually Justina Lee Black. That's how you find me online.
Gotcha.
But this is my birthday month.
Oh, yeah, really? Okay. Well, happy early birthday.
When you live in a northern state like Michigan, where I'm originally from, and there's a blizzard everywhere, I never knew when it was going to be nice. So I just took the whole month.
That's smart.
First good day would be, okay, we're celebrating.
Okay.
So yeah,
go.
it's my birthday month. Yeah.
That's
All right.
kind of cool. That's a good way to look at it for sure. You're right. You never know what you're gonna get in the winter
Yeah.
months for all of. And I'm a winter baby too, so I'm out of December, but you just didn't know what you was going to get. So yeah.
Yeah. Well,
So,
thanks for
Always
having me,
baby.
guys.
oh, you're
Yeah.
welcome. So welcome to the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. Again, I am Big Jack Storytime, and my man Walt Talks over here, my co-host. And we're here. So we're live right now on YouTube. We're live on Facebook. We'll definitely push this out to Twitch. We'll push it out to Instagram. I do not use TikTok anymore. So TikTok is off my list. And we'll explain it on another episode why TikTok is off the list. But and then some of it is just it's personal. That's all mine, just me. So you got to watch what you do, and some of it, it's just me. So, but I want to thank everyone who's out there in the chat right now viewing the show. And Justina Lee Black, if I will make sure we get your stage name correct, and it is sitting right there, so I should have caught that. But can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, yeah, I started writing music in my teens. So I'll be 64 actually in a couple weeks. So I started writing in the 70s, and it was just poems. And it just evolved into my mother buying me a guitar inadvertently, not knowing that I would have this guitar in my hands for decades. And it just evolved into a beautiful way of meditation and pulling away from the world, finding a big old oak tree to sit under in the summertime, or jamming in my friend's basement as teenagers and listening to some really cool music as that music evolved in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and really evolved who I was as a songwriter. I didn't really start recording though until my 30s. I was a stay-at-home mom, 2 amazing kids. My husband wanted me at home, and I was like, okay, I'll take that job. But I did have a lot of little part-time jobs that I did here and there when the kids were in school. But music always stayed with me. And then I just let it evolve throughout the years. I met a great producer who was actually a high school friend, and he was a prodigy. And I brought him this song that I wrote in the shower. You ever hear those people that say, I can sing in the shower? The acoustics are amazing. And that was like my first song that I realized, wow, I could go somewhere with this. It's called World Took Over Me. And it just, it's a song about kind of what we're still going through, how things just attack us in the world, and how we get through it all. So that was my first song that was written a cappella, which is without music. And then we went into the studio and just created dozens and dozens and dozens of songs. And, that was 30 something years ago. So it's been quite a journey ever since. I'm so glad that you're interested in finding out how everything evolved after that beginning of that journey. So I appreciate being here. It's really exciting.
No, and it's definitely nice meeting you, and thank you for sharing that part of your life with us. So I'm already hearing that you're Michigan, and then you're saying a songwriter, and the fact that when you said 60s, I was almost, because I would not have thought that in the age wise, but I'm gonna go there. So
I'm there.
Yeah, but I'm looking at your title, which it says singer-songwriter and best-selling author. So you have a book as well. So can you tell us a little bit about your book?
Yeah. This is the cover. It says Limitless Women. It is charting the path to unstoppable success. And it's 10 female entrepreneurs. And you complimented on my youthfulness. I'm a health and wellness coach. And it's really prevalent right now because at my age, everything I've done worked. So I'm pretty much a walking example of what I've been trying to lead people in my direction for the past 20 or 30 years. And it's paid off. It's paid off. So, but it's never too late to get healthy. I want to put that out there. But that's not really what the premise of this book was. They reached out to me when they heard my story. And I have a really profound story that happened to me 10 years ago. And, well, I'll just get right into it. I was incarcerated as a innocent woman. Okay, I did time, guys. I'm a felon. Believe it or not. But, you know, there was a reason why you go through things in your life. And mine was just I signed my tax returns. We all do that. My accountant fudged them. And what I've come to learn is once you sign them, you're liable for what's in them. And I was liable. And I was liable in a really big way because I fronted a multi-million-dollar gold buying business back when the recession happened. And you ever hear those cash for gold, you know, buying and selling gold? Well, that's what we were doing. And we were so blessed to be able to get a lead in Las Vegas. And when I was in Las Vegas, I was doing music in Las Vegas too, which was really, really cool. I was in two projects, Black and Wild with Michael Wild, Justina Lee Black, and another trio with Merlot, with a pianist and a drummer. And I had the big hair and the stilettos, and that was called Merlot. But our main job there was to buy gold. And we did. And my husband was a semi-pro gambler, and he was at Tropicana Resort. I think they leveled it now. And he was in the World Series of he was in the World Series of Poker. So we lived this really cool, exciting. Oh my God, it was so exciting. And he made so much money in and out of the casino that we got all these comps. So I was able to see Cher and Lady Gaga, and I could call for a limousine to pick me up at the airport. We had dinners whenever we wanted. I mean, we were living the life, but it was all because of the amount of money that goes through the casino, which we were learning as we were going. And he did relatively well. And then that was about a 3-year stint, and it was time to get back. And we had sold our house in Michigan, and we moved full-time to the Florida Keys. So it's really, really cold right now at 50 degrees here. They actually have warming stations. I think it got down to 46 last night. So that's where I live, in the Florida Keys. And I'm like, oh man, the dream. We made some great money. We can get on with the rest of our life. And I get that phone call. They actually can call you to read you your rights. And I'm like, what are you talking about? So it evolved in a 5-year law battle. It was a nightmare. Actually, the proceeds from my Michigan house paid my attorney fees. It was quite a journey, guys. It was quite a journey. My attorney was one of the top attorneys in Michigan, a tax attorney, and he said, "You are innocent, girl. I got your back. Don't worry about nothing." And they gave me a huge restitution because I had to pay back the money, you know. But then the judge says, 30 days. Where do you want to go, Detroit or Miami? What? You're giving me 30 days? You know what? What I come to find out is usually when it's a white collar crime and it's federal, they don't give anybody 30 days. It's long. Not anybody, it's years, you know? Yeah. So all of a sudden, I'm like, I don't want to be in Detroit. You know, even though that was my homestead back then, I said, you're giving me a choice. I'll go to Miami. And they had just opened up the state-of-the-art prison. And the most beautiful thing about that experience, if you could even call it beautiful, is they had a guitar. They had a guitar. Right. And when I was looking through their welcome literature, and I was like, they got a guitar? That guitar changed the whole dynamics of my stay. And when you're going into a prison atmosphere, and I'm realizing a lot of people have been in jail and prison because I'm like so embarrassed. I don't want to talk about it. This happened 10 years ago. I didn't talk to nobody about it, but the story was so significant because it was based around music. And when I got this guitar, when I got my hands on this guitar, which I write about in this, it's a short story. It's not the whole story, but the prison went through chatter, 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 chatter to.
Wow.
And all of a sudden, you could hear me playing throughout the prison. And women were coming up to me and they were like, can you play this song? And can you do this for me? And I'm having a birthday party and I'm having a going away party. And I was the worship minister in our Bible study because they wanted to hear guitar and Bible study. So that's what I wrote about in my story. And there was a significant event that they had already planned months and months and months ago. And they wanted me to play music in it. And I'm not going to give my story away because it's really, really cool. But that's what I wrote this short story about. And it just takes, like something that crushed me. You know, I was so embarrassed. I was so humiliated. I couldn't stop crying. I couldn't believe this was my life. You know, it was just, I don't even get speeding tickets. I mean, I'm like the girl everybody goes to for advice, and I babysit, and I'm going to prison. So it was really horrible. And the beginning of my story, I talk about how brutal it is when they first incarcerate you. And if I could give anybody advice, is if you ever get incarcerated, wear socks, because those shackles around bare ankles really hurt.
Yeah.
So that's what that book is about. It's way different than any other story in that book. They're all great survivor stories that all these women have. But my story is like an actual story of my life, because I bring in when I started playing guitar into this incident that I had. And it's fascinating, and I'm ready to talk about it because I realize, you know, we all go through these ebbs and flows in life, and so it's just really, sometimes it's not our fault, you know, and we have to just evolve from it and find the beauty, you know, the old saying, take lemons and make lemonade. And so what I decided to do, this excerpt in this book is actually just a small portion of the full book I wrote, because what I did was I journaled. I've been journaling. Like I told you, I was a poet back in the day. I've been journaling my whole life. I have so many journals. I don't know where I'm going to do with them all. Now you can do it in your phone, you know? Right. So I wrote the journal for 30 days. And that book is going to be released. I'm just working on the cover to it right now. And there's a particular song that I wrote at that prison stay that I wrote in a dream that I talk about, that I played. And that's going to be released when the book gets released. And that book is called 29 Links in 30 Days, because there was 29 links between my ankles.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Okay.
And I had to do 30 days.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that book is really, and that what I experienced, my story is not only my story, because these women, they started trusting me because all of a sudden, everybody wanted to know who I was. And so they started telling me their stories.
Yeah.
And their stories were so significant. I just have this ability, people that, I get a lot of people that don't like talking to me, and they were just coming up to me and telling me their stories. So as I was journaling their stories. So you really learn a lot about the human element in my full book, 29 Links in 30 Days, because of so many other people's stories and the way that they treated me and they embraced me, because some of them have been in for 8, 9, 10, 12 years. And so, you know, I'm like the baby in the group, and they're like, you got 30 days. You're like, no one gets 30 days.
30 days.
So it's gonna be gone like that. And it was, but when you're going through it, it seems like forever. Sure. So I'll have to get back with you and let you know more about the 29 Links in 30 Days when that gets released. And this one did go to bestsellers in 5 different categories. So I'm really excited about that. I was in New York and we did the book launch and all that. So really happy that came together, and that will interest people into reading my full story. So thanks for asking about that.
No, yeah, that's cool. So now how and where can we find the book that you have right there?
You could just go on Amazon. You can get it immediately on Kindle. Limitless Woman. Yeah, if you just Google limitless women, and then, of course, charting the path to unstoppable success, because there's some other innuendos for limitless woman, but just so you see, the white book with the, not real thrilled that the type is so hard to read, but that wasn't my cover, it was hers. So, yeah, Amazon's really the way to go. And, I'm learning a lot about Amazon because I'm self-publishing my other book, and it's going really well. Yeah. So that's where you get. And if you're in the Florida Keys or near Florida, come look me up. I've been doing my book signings. A lot of people are coming into town, getting away from the winter.
Right. Yeah, no, there's nothing wrong. And look, y'all just, well, I don't say you're just as cold, but I'm not going to go to Florida for 40-degree weather. So that's not trying to get away. But I see that you're wearing a lot of hats. I mean, you're a health coach. You said you're best-selling author, songwriter, poet, 60 plus, and this is your birthday month. So you have a lot of hats that you're wearing. How do you work it all out? How do you keep it all in line and balance? I mean, you have it exciting. I'm talking about, you said Detroit, or you said Michigan, you said Vegas, now Florida, parent, so all of these things. So how do you keep it all going and flowing?
That is really, I always say I'm multifaceted. I call my business body, mind, and soul, because the body, of course, for health and wellness, and the soul is for music, and body, mind, because I concentrate, I focus on cognitive health. That's what I'm focusing on more than anything right now. But it's always prevalent to what's most important. So I always say, do what's most important first and then fill in the blanks. So health is of utmost importance to me. And I'm still learning all the time. I listen to doctors online in detail all the time. And after that big COVID ordeal we all went through all over the world, more and more doctors are coming out and talking about wellness. So I'm kind of self-taught. I go in a lot of seminars and I do house visits, and I help people at their homes with their cognitive health. And then I can also do things remotely. So if anybody's dealing with anything to do with their brain, memory loss, anything like that, please do look me up. You can find me on JustinaLeeBlack.com, and I can help you remotely too. So it's always about the mind first. The brain is the central nervous system, just like our computers, they have a brain, and then the rest of the body follows. So that's my main focus right now, but I'll always be a musician, and I have some other producers that I'm working with right now, and still writing music and still releasing music. I put it on the back burner for a little while to do some other things here in the Florida Keys. And now I'm like getting back into that. And I did modeling years and years and years ago when my kids were quite young. And everybody said, "Oh, you're tall and skinny, you should be a model." But I really liked photography. And I've been a freelance photographer for many, many years. Everybody that knows me knows I'm always taking pictures. I never did it professionally. And my mom always says, "You should have done it professionally," with all these other hats, But I do love photography. I have on my YouTube, or no, my Facebook page is called Great Eye Photography. That's a page I have. I put weddings and nature, and anything that I take pictures of goes there. And I do for some freelancing for people, but it's always just depending on what's most important. That's how I designate everything. So about a year ago, I started getting calls about modeling again. And I'm like, oh no, I got a lot going on, But then the lady really, the lady that consulted with me, she says, "You're 63 years old. You can do what's called mature modeling." She says it's a huge market now because so many women are entrepreneurs, and it's a huge market for modeling. She's like, "Girl, look at you. You can do this." I mean, I go out with my 40-year-old son and they think I'm his girlfriend sometimes, which she doesn't always like. So I thought, you know what? What another facet to meet people and evolve. And down here in the Florida Keys, they do, I was on Bloodline. I was an extra on Bloodline. So modeling is also a part of acting. And in Detroit, I was on Nine Monkeys and the Batman movie, as extras. And so I thought, that was kind of fun, and I met some great people and I made new friends. And so they did this photo session for me. And I kind of looked at the pictures and I thought, well, she got a point, mature modeling, it's called.
Yeah.
So I took her on and I was like, what a great way to travel. I really want to travel. And I haven't been much of a traveler. I've done some traveling, but not as much as I would like. So that's going to open up some doors for me to go to different places around the United States. New York is a big modeling hub, but the UK is huge. I'm learning a lot about the UK. So that's something I'm like, I'm trying to get my feet wet again, and then maybe I'll take that jump over to UK and do some fashion modeling there and catalog modeling, stuff like that, being still modeling, not really runway. They might want me to do runway. But we'll cross that bridge when we have to. So that's re-evolved from something I did in my 30s. Yeah, coming back.
It's very interesting, very interesting that you're saying it. Now, I'm also reading that you are a puppeteer. So,
that is actually re-evolving too right now in the Florida Keys. I started that in Las Vegas. When I was in Vegas, it was during the recession. And I only worked at night, because was our house parties were always at night. And then I would, do the music, at night. And I really have a lot going on during the day. And I always liked Sherry Lewis. And I thought to myself, you know what, I love kids. I love kids. So I started, kind of dabbling in Sherry Lewis and was watching what she was doing. And I just got this idea I don't know if I had a vision or something. And the guy was working with Michael Wilde. He started calling me Lady J with that duet that I was in with Black and Wild. And I'm like, Lady J, I kind of like that. So I put an ad on Craigslist back in the day. That was in 2008, 9, and 10. And there was a lot of actors and actresses out of work. And they loved the idea. And I hired a ventriloquist. So I bought this puppet stage that was like one of those beach chairs you can pull out. And it was 8 feet by 6 feet tall. And I bought a bunch of puppets and I had these actors. And you can find me on YouTube, Lady J and the Puppetones, or it's called Lady J's Puppetones. And some of the skits we did were just so funny. They were, and there were so many actors and actresses and dancers and comics that were out of work. So I hired, I think about 6 people, and we rotated when they were available. And we did house parties, and we did a St. Jude's home for children in Boulder City, Nevada. They had these little homes. And the foster kids, ironically, a lot of them were kids where their parents were incarcerated. Talk about looking at the future, right? and what they would do is they would put these children in these little pod homes with parents, and they were in these foster type facilities in this big giant compound. So my job was to help them raise money. So we did an Easter show, and it was just fab. It was really, really cool. And so that's how Lady J and the Puppetones came about. And then I came to the Florida Keys. Oh, I did it in Michigan too, because it was a travel stage. It was like a big backpack you could put on your back. And I worked for WBRW, and it was a local cable station in Michigan, in my hometown near Romeo. And they were looking for unique programming because all they did was sports and politics. So I walked in there one day. I wanted to do music videos, with my music. And he says to me, well, I'll let you do music videos. I'll let you use the studio. I want programming. He says, and I got the students that'll help you. And I was like, wow, right? So then I'm like, well, I got this puppet show thing I did in Las Vegas. He's like, bring it on. So a lot of the skits that you'll see on my YouTube station were actually done at that studio at WBRW in Romeo, Michigan. And Romeo, Michigan's where Kid Rock grew up. Oh. And that's where my kids went to school. So that's interesting, but it's like everything always wants to fall back on music for me. So we did that. And then I actually did a talk show called Walk That Talk. And that was 4 girls. We did 11 episodes at WBRW. There was a comic, Trish Nelson. There was a doctor, Audrey Brodesky. And there was a young Christian girl, Michelle Bonamy, and then myself. And so we did these, I think we did 11 episodes, and it was so cool. We set up a little talk show. We were kind of like The View, but we were way better. So I did that too. I didn't put that on my bio. So I just really utilized that studio, and I did make some music videos out of there too. And then I moved to the Florida Keys full time, and brought Lady J to the Florida Keys. And I've done like the Elks Club and the Lions Club and some of the festivals, and trying to get like a rhythm going back with Lady J. They kind of shut me right out during COVID because you couldn't even get near the schools. They wouldn't let you go by the kids, So that's, I'm bringing that back to life again. We've been rehearsing again and getting the students involved, because it's all about storytelling. Puppetry is about storytelling. So what Lady J does is she hangs out on the outside of the stage like Sherry Lewis did, and the puppets are in the inside of the stage. So I was able to converse with the puppets, and then I can grab the kids from the audience and get them up dancing and putting instruments in their hands. And it was really, really cool. Really cool. Everybody loves my show. There's so much humor and dance and activities. And when I go into the schools, it's about education. What are they studying? So that's how Lady J came about, and it's regrowing again now that COVID's way over, and they're starting to bring some creative things back into the schools. So, yeah, there's
definitely interesting. Walt, you got anything? I see you back there.
So I need to go back for a moment, if you don't mind.
Okay, sure.
The 30 days in federal penitentiary, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, well, I guess unfortunately, I have a few friends and family members who I have walked through this experience with. And the one thing I noticed about judges, especially in the federal court, they have this thing like, they don't think, to me, I see him giving you 30 days because you just didn't seem too worried, because it doesn't look like too much worries you. Your presence, you seem so centered, like you're so matter of fact about how you talk about things. Was he just upset with you? You weren't crying and boo-hooing, or what happened? I mean, like, what made him do the 30-day thing? Did that ever come out? Because you're absolutely right. That's very unusual to send somebody across several states to a federal penitentiary, for 30 days. That makes no sense to me either.
It was really weird. I remember saying in my closing statement, I guess they call it, or something, what your last words are. And I said to him, Gold Swap was the best. We did 3 years in Las Vegas, but it was a 5-year business. And I says, that was the best 5 years of our life. We had so much fun. There were so many people that were so needy, and they really needed money during the recession. People they were selling their gold and getting, buying refrigerators, their cars were broke down. They needed to make their mortgage. A little handful of gold like this, just a little pile of gold was worth $500. And we were buying all this gold from like the 80s, Mr. T days.
Yeah.
So people, so I says to the judge, I said, gold swap was the best of times. It was like a double-edged sword, but it was the worst of times too. Because what I dealt with for the past 5 years during this 5-year battle with the government, sometimes I couldn't even speak. I mean, I remember, when my attorney used to call me, and sometimes I couldn't even think. I would just cry, and I'm like, why is this happening to me? I don't deserve this, and I would just hand the phone to my husband. I'm like, you deal with it, because I was the president of the corporation, but my husband was like, he was my assistant, if you will. And I trusted him with the money, and I trusted him with the numbers, and we both trusted our accountant. And it was really tough, and the judge just kind of looked at me and he says to me, well, you were the president. And my husband's like, let me do the time. Right. He said, and he's like, she was the president. It was called Justina Incorporated, but I worked for Gold Swap. Right. And he said, you have to learn one thing. You're the boss. And you're supposed to know the numbers, and you're supposed to read contracts, and you're supposed to know what's going on. And you didn't. Says, we're going to give you $100,000 restitution for 3 years worth of tax evasion. We're going to give you 30 days. And the whole court went.
Right.
My lawyer, like everybody was like, and it was it.
Wow.
And I looked at my attorney who said, you ain't doing any time. There's no way you're going to do time. And everybody was just so shocked. And I think he was making an example out of me.
That part.
That's what it sounded like.
Yeah.
So I had a tether on my ankle for a year. I wore pants. I never took my pants off. Even when it was 80 degrees, 90 degrees, no one saw my tether. I had to be home at 7 o'clock at night. And sometimes I was racing home. And I had, it was my patrol, what do they call them? The officers that, probation. They were pretty cool. Yeah, they don't make you feel bad. They really make you feel comfortable. And I guess it depends on the perpetrator, but they were super cool to me. They knew I was innocent. And when I was here in Florida, because I had one in Michigan too before we sold the house, and then I had this one here, and he would actually come out to my house. I didn't even have to go to Key West for him, so that was cool. And so that was a year of house arrest, which was that was tough. But wearing that thing on your ankle ain't no fun. And then after a year of that, I had to turn myself in. And the most interesting thing that you'll read in this book is they couldn't find me.
Couldn't find
so when I turned myself in, they didn't have record of me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So you're talking about the Department of Justice didn't have you in record.
Yeah. So we go up to Miami, and I had to turn myself in, and they're like, you're not in our records. And I'm like, can I go home then?
How'd it work out for you?
No. No, my ride already left. No, they took some time, but they found me.
Yeah.
And then it's you got to read the book. The beginning, when you're initially incarcerated, it's brutal. They break your spirit. They do the most horrific things to you. The walk of shame, being shackled with your wrists and your ankles. That's how beginning of the book was so people could experience. They don't want to go. And I think that's why they do that to you in prison, because they don't want you to come back. They humiliate you. They break you down. And either you figure out how to make it work, or you become a broken person. And I was blessed. This group of women that surrounded me. I couldn't even get my commissary for 15 days, and I was only doing 30.
30, right. I was about to say, yeah, that
Wow.
part.
So people were giving me
Yeah.
food,
Yeah,
and they were
yeah,
giving me clothes, and they
yeah.
were, they just put their arms around me. And I did meet up with one lady that was like my spiritual leader. I had to wait a year after she got out. She did 27 months, and she lived in up north in Florida here. So when the time came, she gave me her daughter's phone number, and I actually met up with her. I haven't seen her since. But that was really cool. That was super cool. Yeah, she was an innocent person too. I did meet a few innocent women in there. But the ones that should have been in there, they were repenting. They were like, I was greedy. A lot of Medicare crime, a lot, a lot. But then there were the bad girls that were like the druggers and the murderers and the prostitutes. They were on the other side of the prison, and we were the good girls. So you'll hear in my book, I call the good girls and the bad girls in green. And I had then I had Little Havana was where the Chicanos, the Spanish ladies were, and then down below I called it the dungeon, and that's where the other people were. So I had like these little words for all these different categories of people, but everybody was nice to me. Everybody, it doesn't matter their ethnic, who they were, where they came from. Some of them had tattoos on their face, and they embraced me. And I guess I needed to be there because the music changed their whole life.
Right.
They were like the girl with the guitar, So it was fascinating. I didn't talk about it for 10 years. I did not want my mom to know. My mom passed away 4 years ago this month, ironically, a couple days from my birthday. So she was in the hospital having me. And then when she died at 85, she was in the hospital again, right around my birthday. So that was really the irony. So after she passed, I was like, you know what? This is a really good story. And I decided to write it. So I wrote it a year ago. And then I had this horrible incident with my 21-year relationship with my husband, him not wanting to be married anymore. And I'm dealing with that right now. He couldn't even read my book. Couldn't even read it. And it's really bittersweet because we went through BP oil spill. We went through 5 of his surgeries. We went through Hurricane Irma was brutal, you guys, in the Florida Keys. If you took Hurricane Irma and put it over the map of Florida, it was the whole size. And our house is across from the ocean. We actually just finished the remodel job last year, and he decided to walk away from my marriage. I'm still dealing with that. We're at the beginning stages, and I can't figure out why. I sued the mortgage company for mortgage fraud on this house because it was wrapped up in a mortgage fraud scam, which a lot of people were during the recession. And at the same time, I was in court with the IRS. So I've been through a lot, And for this guy to bolt on me right at the beginning of our retirement, how dare he? How dare he? So I kind of almost have a new platform because I was like the all-American wife. I cooked, I cleaned. I'm Italian. We don't believe in divorce. I tried saving my marriage for 8 months. And then he decided to have an affair. And shame on him. Why'd you do that? What'd you do that to me for? I don't deserve that. So it gave me a new platform because now I'm, the amount of women that have gone through what I have gone through, I've never had to talk about this before. And there's so many broken families, and men are just walking away from their families, and women are too, to a point, but it's more the men from my experience. And I have talked to countless women in the past year, and it's like, you're dealing with this too, and you're dealing with this too, and you're dealing with this too. And the kids are getting wrapped up in it. And, statistically, divorce is like, it's at 70%, you guys.
Yeah.
And I was married before. My kids did have another, father. And he was my high school sweetheart. And I loved him to pieces, but he got wrapped up into drugs and alcohol. And then he started being abusive. And I stayed with him from 14 to 40. And I was with him for 26 years. So I got patience, man. I got patience. And I believe in the sanctity of marriage. So that was one of the reasons why I got involved in so many things, because of my first divorce, because I wanted to stay married, because my kids deserve that all-American great life, because he was a really good dad. It was just not a great husband. He just never would grow up, and got just so wrapped up into drugs and alcohol that I got scared. So I started bartending. I got my real estate license, and I went back to school in my 30s, night school. And even my kids were helping me study because they were in high school when I was in college. So that helped me survive my first marriage. And then when he got dangerous, I had to leave, but the kids were on their way to college. Then I was like, all right, I did my job, but this guy, there's no reason for him to leave me. He started traveling out of state and to afford this house, because we were having a hard time making ends meet down here. And but he made really good money in Tool and Die in Michigan, really good money. And he kept saying, you take care of the Florida house, get the house done. So I was the one taking care of all the hurricane stuff and all the crap. And I had a lot of friends that came here and helped me out. I mean, it was pretty trashed, completely remodeled, beautiful home. It's like a log cabin I live in. Ocean's right there. I see the ocean every morning. And he got used to his life, So my mom kept saying, you guys are away from each other too much. And then he would say, Mom, I love her to pieces. Nothing will ever come between us. And then my aunt would say, you guys are away from each other too much, because he would go to Michigan for 3 weeks and then come to Florida for a week. And we did that for 7 years. Oh. And don't do it. Don't do it. I should have just rented the house out and just moved back to Michigan. I love this man. I really did. I wouldn't have got married again. We weren't going to have kids. We were going to buy a boat and sail off to the ocean, in our 60s. And he's going to go buy the boat and go sail with some other woman that don't deserve it. And it's really sad. But it gave me a new platform. And I'll be talking more about that in my next book.
I was about to say, so
I kept a journal.
You are a very resilient woman.
Yeah. I want to help women. I want people to recognize that when they get married, you get married for it's like a covenant. It's a covenant. Yeah. And respect that. And if it's not, you're growing up and things are going in a different direction. I never believed in counseling because I was a writer. I would write everything down and I would get it out of my head onto paper. But he needed the counseling. And I should have recognized it quite a few years ago and said, baby, we need to do something about this. Something's not right. I started, getting this women's intuition, something wasn't right. But he kept they call it love bombing. I'm learning all this new terminology. Oh, I got you. Don't worry, baby. Don't worry. Nothing will ever come between us. But I still had that little pit in my stomach. And you guys might get it too. When you're feeling something, act on it. Don't ignore it. Man, this was like the biggest learning experience. So I'm really looking forward now that I'm at peace with what's going on, because I tried saving my marriage for 8 months. And then when the infidelity happened, I was like, can't go back.
But you are a walking example of resilience, and not what has happened to you, but what has happened for you. And you mentioned you have a new platform. You said that like 2 or 3 times. So I already know that you're making back to the lemons and lemonade thing. You know, you have a plan of action. So, I mean, you know, sometimes things happen for whatever reason, but I'm sure you're going to make the best of it. Have you ever had the opportunity to go back to and say, as a motivation speaker, and talk to some of the women in prison? Do you have that option? Have you ever tried that? Have you ever considered that?
I have considered that. There's not a prison, but a jail near where I live. And my pastor frequents there and a few other people. And like, I need another facet, right?
No, but
But I have thought about it. I have thought about it. It is something that is tapping me on the shoulder now that my book's out, especially. So, so I'm going to look into that. You know, I got a lot on my plate right now with moving out of this house that I've had for 21 years. And, but that's definitely something I do want to mentor those women and let them know, you know, it's okay. And there's a reason why this happened, and we can get through, you know, my body, mind, and soul again. And yeah. So thanks for asking that. Yeah, that is definitely something that's been weighing on my mind.
And the reason I asked is because you said you don't need to go, you didn't need to go to therapy because you get your thoughts out of your head and you put them on, you journal. But also sometimes helping other people is cathartic. You know, it helps you to get through what I know it helps me when I help other people get through what they need to get through, just like with you and the guitar. I mean, your 30 days, I get it, it's 30 days, but it's still 30 days of your life. You had a 5-year battle. But when you started playing the guitar, it just kind of changed the mood. At that point, everyone is on your side. Everyone who works at the prison and everyone who is a temporary resident of the prison at this point, right? Because the music is just calming and soothing. So you have this energy. I mean, I just kind of feel it, even though we're on, you know, through the internet. You have this thing. I mean, you have something special. And I'm going to read your book. I mean, I'm looking forward to reading your book, and because it just seems like, wow, you know, I mean, people think you have problems, and then I'm hearing this, and I'm like, man, I thought I'd been through some stuff, but I see that I'm not minimizing what I've been through, but I haven't been through everything, you know.
I was called a healer the other day. I had to go to court for a bogus PPO. It was just a couple days ago for my husband's mistress who wanted to put a restraining order on me. And I won. It was, here I am in court again. I'm like, what? I'm innocent. What's going on? You know? And one of the guys that was a witness, called me a healer. And I thought, I never thought of that before. And he says, Justina's a healer. She helped me with these lotions and potions. He was a plumber at my house when I was remodeling my house. And he had a really hard time with his knees. I'm like, I got something to help you. And I never thought of myself as a healer. And I was like, thank you, Tommy. It was really neat that you recognized it. And he was like, oh yeah, girl, you're a healer. You're a healer. You know, so yeah, you learn things from other people that recognize you. When I was going through the lawsuit, I did tell some of my closest friends what was going on because I needed character letters.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yeah, they do help.
They do.
And when I read these character letters, my kids were the most amazing. What my children said to me, I have two amazing, very successful kids, 38 and 40. But like I said, this happened 10 years ago. And no, that longer than that. The incarceration happened. Yeah, so the incarceration happened 10 years ago, but the issue happened in 2008, 9, and 10, like I said. But regardless, what they said about me in these letters, wow. And then reading what my friends said, people that I've known my whole life since childhood, and a few people that I met up here, because I wanted like this wide range of different personalities so the judge could get a really good view of who I was.
Who you are, right.
Yeah, and it brought tears to my eyes. And I thought, you know what? Child of I'm being blessed. I'm being blessed. I'm like, for me to touch that many lives and for me to listen to their words that I made a difference in their life was huge to me. And it gave me so much pleasure and so much joy to think I touched their lives to make a difference. So everybody that we open a door for, whatever we do to make somebody happy, we don't know that could change their whole life. You know what I'm saying? We just don't know the direction. And if you're nice to somebody, then could be nice to somebody else. I've heard stories of people talking to people and they were about to commit suicide. And just from their kindness, they changed their mind. I went to the grocery store a couple of weeks ago and I make jewelry too. I'm an artist and I take old jewelry and I like repurpose stuff that started after the hurricane because there was so much garbage. I didn't want to throw it away. I started making jewelry out of seashells and rocks and beads and all kinds of stuff. So I take old jewelry and make new jewelry. And I had this real big, giant, bold necklace on one of my creations. And the cashier says to me, this real elderly lady, and she's always saying, I love you to everybody that comes down her lane. I love you. I love you. And I kept hearing her say, I love you to all these people while I was waiting. So my turn, and she says to me, oh, I love your necklace. I says, you do? And she had all this real teeny little chains on. I says, you like this? She says, yeah. I says, this is one of my creations. She says, oh, it's so beautiful. I says, would you wear something like this? And she says, absolutely. I took it off my neck and I went around and I put it on her neck and I said, Merry Christmas. She's like, she's bawling. And all the other cashiers are like, what's going on? So I snapped a picture of us together. Like I said, I capture things in motion. And she said her name was Mary. She had already taken her name tag off because she was going to go on a break. And I put that picture on Facebook. I usually don't brag about people I help because it's kind of supposed to be a personal thing. But something about Mary, there's even a movie called that, right? And I was like, I need to share this. I mean, she's like, I'm never going to take this off. Like, oh my God. Okay. I just got a notice yesterday. It's the most hits I've ever gotten on a post. It's up to like 1,700 people have commented on that post. And the people that are commented know Mary.
Oh, wow.
They know Mary.
Store. Yeah.
They know the grocery store. So them seeing that picture of Mary and they're like, I know her. And then some of my friends have seen it. They're like, that was your necklace? And they're going through the line. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I mean. That little kindness, that act of kindness, that random act of kindness changed Mary's whole life. And 1,700 people that I said, share your act of kindness.
Wow.
Yeah.
Justina, right now we have that picture up on the screen. Yeah.
Oh God, how'd you find that?
Yeah. Look, we make it happen. We make it happen.
Make it happen. Yeah.
We make it happen.
Yeah, that's me and Mary.
That's pretty cool. That really is nice. Yep, that really is nice.
Thank you.
You definitely you've lived a very exciting life. So from everything we're seeing and all of that. So and I know that you're going to be successful in whatever new platform you got going and all the other things. One thing that you did say, because I'm going to share my little quick story with this, is that I was a correction officer, not in the federal prison, but in a state prison. So a person coming in with 30 days is like, that's no time. So like it takes us longer to in-process you be getting ready to out-process at the same time. So the fact that I'm honestly believing that you had to go through that part. That was something that you needed to go. That changed your story. That changed everything. You could tell me that you had to pay a fine and it wouldn't have meant the same as I had to do time. And that changed the story. And because you are the people that you talk to and things like that. So, and the people you met that you wouldn't have had an opportunity to meet, and the lives you touched, even with the guitar and the music. So it's sometimes you wonder, and you say, why me? But it's like, why not you? Somebody had to do it. Somebody needs to make that walk. And it was you that I'm using this when I'm going out past the Big Jack now coming in. God picked you for that mission. And you accepted the mission. Like I say, everything I heard from you was like you turned those lemons into lemonade. Yes. We use that on the show. A lot. So that's one of the things we say, definitely on the Voices of Resilience, the Ladies' Diary, and even in the Coach's Corner, turning lemons into lemonade. What's the lemonade? And this whole interview, even with some of the tears you shed, was about the lemonade. You didn't let it tear you down. It only lifted you up to a next level. And I can only applaud you for that. So I want to thank you 100% for being a guest on the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. And looking forward to having you back from all the different platforms we have. I know you will fit in the Ladies' Diary and the Voices of Resilience and the Coach's Corner. So there's plenty of times that we can have you back on the show. So I'm excited about that. We had a lot of people commenting in the chat, and they love you. So that's a really good thing to hear. It says, what do you do for the least of these you do for him? And that's what it said in the sister. So that came from Cindy Wee 22. And then another person was saying that how wonderful you are. So there's a lot of good chats going on out there talking about you. You know, you're an overcomer. Remember, the best is yet to come. These are comments that was being made during this while you were talking. So 100%. But again, I want to say thank you for being a guest on the show. I'm going to ask you to please stand by once we close this show out. Believe it or not, it's already been an hour. It's hard to say it's been an hour that we went through a whole hour.
Guys are great.
I want to thank each and every person who tuned in today and stayed with us and watched Miss Justina Lee Black as we had her as a guest on the show. She will be back, and we hope you are too. If you haven't already hit the like button, hit that like button. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, hit that subscribe button. And so you can tune in and watch more videos, or not videos, but interviews like this one as we grow the universe. So the Iron Sharpening Iron universe and all that comes under the universe. And one of them is just the Iron Sharpening Iron Show. I thank you all. We ask you to be safe for the rest of this weekend. I know it's at the end. Have a safe and productive next week. And we'll see you Wednesday here on the stage for the Ladies' Diary, So Justin, I'm going to let you, before we pay our sponsor or pay our bills with our ad, I'm going to ask you, do you have anything you want to say to anybody out there before?
Show the book.
Show your book one more time. Yeah, we put the links in there. So the link's in there. So show your book one more time. Yeah. And the link down in the chat. So if you want to check out Justina Lee's book, make sure you go to everywhere. But go ahead,
JustinaLeeBlack.com. You can find me on Spotify. Like my stuff, put it on your playlist. You know, that all makes a difference, because the more, as you know, as you like things, you know, it gets to more people. And that's really what it's about for me, is just reaching people to share the love so we can change all this darkness and bring love back into our nation and our world. We really need more of that. Too much darkness right now. Right. So thank you guys. You two and so many other podcasters. You're just brilliant. You do this out of the love of your heart, your time. And I thank you immensely. I've learned so much, and who knows, that might be another fast that I take someday. Give me a couple years.
We'll be talking to you.
So thank you. Very, very nice that you found me and you gave me this time to tell just a little bit of my story. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're more than welcome, and thank you. Walt, you good?
I'm good. Hey man, I think I have enough to take me through the week. Absolutely. Great story.
The iron has sharpened the iron.
Absolutely. I feel much sharper. That's 100% true.
That's it. So I'm going to pull y'all off stage. We're going to play our commercial, and then we're going to end this show. Until next time, we ask you to stay sharp. And thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Looking to elevate your everyday glam? Meet Pink Babe Cosmetics, where bold beauty meets conscious living. Pink Babe Cosmetics is a beauty and lifestyle brand delivering high-quality makeup and stylish merch made to last. Every product is 100% vegan and cruelty-free, Created with care for you and the planet. From everyday wear to special moments, Pink Babe Cosmetics offers durable, long-lasting formulas you can trust. Beauty that looks good, feels good, and performs effortlessly. Unleash your confidence. Own your glow. Shop now at www.pinkbabecosmetics.com.